The following moments may contain explicit language.
Roger, Charlie, we're ready to rock.
Welcome to the SNLF Dugout Diaries. Today's guest is Matt Whitehead, a player who began his football journey with Brighton Hove Albion's youth system. He spent 6 years there developing his skills. However, after his release, he had a brief stint with Worthing FC before signing with Lewes. After Lewes, he then moved to Bognor Regis Town, where his performances earned him a place in England's under-18 squad. In 2011, he joined Hastings United, contributing to their impressive run, getting to the FA Cup third round. He has also had subsequent moves, which included playing for Three Bridges and Horsham FC. On a commercial side, in January 2015, Whitehead co-founded Ace Football Academy alongside Jamie Crellin. The academy focuses on providing quality football coaching for children aged 4 to 12 in the Sussex area, emphasising a safe and structured environment for young footballers. Ace Football Academy operates across multiple locations, including Lancing, Portslade, Storrington and Worthing, offering football camps, multi-sports and goalkeeper training sessions. Matt Whitehead, welcome to the Dugout. How are you, pal?
I'm good, Matt. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Now, Matt, we've known each other for quite a few years. For the people that don't know you, can you talk about your early life as a kid? Where are you from?
From Worthing. My mum and dad, my dad's actually from Leicester, so I'm a Leicester fan. Grew up around Leicester, my old man. But early life, football-wise, obviously, my old man played a lot. Again,
can you tell listeners who your old man was? Because they will know it.
Yeah. So Guy Whitehead, some of the older generation that listen will definitely know who he is. Played a bit like myself, played for most of the local clubs, played for Worthing, Lancing, Littlehampton. But yeah, he was a bit of a tenacious player, shall we say, is what he gets a name for. So I started off basically watching him and coming onto the pitches and playing at half time and doing all that sort of stuff when I was a nipper. And then when I was sort of 8, 9, I started really playing myself. I actually didn't start too young. I coach kids as young as 4 now, so I actually didn't start till I was about 8. Excuse me. But I then signed for Brighton when I was about 9. I only did about a year. I was at Worthing Miners when I was really young. I went to Regis 2000, and a guy called Pete Belcher was a coach there who was linked with Brighton, and he got me into Brighton. And I played for Brighton for 6 years, 7 years just on till I was YTS.
How'd you find it?
I enjoyed it, but I think the dynamics of youth team football now are drastically different to what they were when I was growing up. It was very strict and sort of like you do what we say, I suppose, opposed to nowadays. I feel it's very sort of easygoing and it's much more of an enjoyable environment. I think when I grew up, it was sort of you do this, you do that, and if you don't, you get told what you're doing wrong straight away. Whereas now it's sort of you learn as you do, and I think it's definitely a better dynamic now to learn in as a child growing up. But it's a good experience. I played with some really, really good players. I was Dunkey's year, Lewis Dunk, who obviously don't need explaining where he's gone and what he's done. But yeah, it was really good experience. I got a lot out of it, but it was totally different. Yeah, the dynamics of it now, for it seeing Brighton training ground now, we used to train at Felmer on a sand-based AstroTurf. And now they've got what they've got at their training ground now. So it's totally different.
How did you... So you were there 6 years. Now you're a young lad. You're 8 years old. You're going into there. Obviously, your head is like, I'm going to make it as a professional footballer. It's the dream. It's the only thing I want to do. You then get to... You're playing regularly. You're getting 9, 10. And then you start getting into these key years of your development. And then you get released. How are you feeling?
Oh, mate, I can't put into words the feeling that you receive when someone gives you bad news, like when they come to your house. So at the time, it was Martin Hinchelwood. You've been there 6 years. I actually got a 4-year contract as well when I was 12. So they give out 1 year, 2 year, or 4 year, depending on how development is. So when I was 8 and 9, I got a year and a year. And then when I was 10, I got 2 year. And then from 12 to YTS, I got a 4-year contract. And there was only about 5 or 6 of us that got that. Lewis Dunk being one of them, me, Jamie Krellin, and a couple of others. And so obviously at that point, without thinking you're going to make it, you get your hopes up, you sort of, your mentality maybe slightly changes. And so, yeah, 15, 16, we come to YTS and that all comes crashing down. It's like your whole world is falling in. It's a feeling you can't really explain. Obviously, you've got a man telling you you're not wanted anymore, and you're with your parents, and I just remember bursting out crying straight away, instantly. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like, at that age, when you get told your dream's gone, and even though it's not, in hindsight, now I'm the age I am now, actually, it's only one person's opinion. But at that moment, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like that's it. It's done. It's over. So it's hard, very hard.
Did you feel resentment towards the club?
Yes and no. Yes, I did at the time, definitely. I mean, you've been there 6 years. You've tried your hardest. You've never missed sessions, really, and you put everything into it. But no, in the sense that I didn't think that they had made the wrong decision as such. So obviously at the time you think, I want to be a pro. I think I'm good enough to be a pro. But only after 6 months, you look back and you think, well, maybe I wasn't up to maybe the level they wanted of the players, because I went to exit trials and stuff like that. And I had trials at other clubs, which I didn't manage to get into either. But to be honest, if we're talking about honestly and personally, my dad definitely did. Obviously, my old man taking me all around the country and doing all the hard yards for me as a parent, which they all do. It's kind of like kicking the teeth, if you see what I mean.
How did you? So you're at that age now. You're at 16. Everyone around here knew that you were a super bright prospect talent. We knew that, and we could see that at a young age. You now get to 16. You're into, let's say, county youth football. How are you adapting? Because obviously you're standing out. Is your desire still there? Is your desire to give it a go, or are you now like resent to it? Like, okay, I'm not going to be a footballer. Maybe I just need to go in a different direction.
No, is the answer to that. So I was actually quite lucky. I'm a very determined person anyway, whether it's in life, in football, or whatever. So I actually took about 2 or 3 months to get over it quite quickly. And my dad was like, look, it's what it is. You've lost the chance at this club, but it doesn't mean anything. And as I said a minute ago, I went on exit trials, which is like a national thing, and you do it locally. I don't remember where ours was at the time. It's quite a long time ago, but I had trials at Portsmouth and at Grimsby come from that because I did well in the exit trials. And I was also lucky. I went to Worthing, but I literally went to Worthing as I finished Brighton for 2 or 3 months. It wasn't really, I played a couple of games, but I went straight to Lewis Youth Team.
Yeah.
And at Lewis Youth Team at the time, they had 2 or 3 other Brighton players that had been released as well, because this is when Lewis were in the conference. Yeah. So quite a fair few of us went to Lewis Youth Team. And so although it was different, and yes, it wasn't the same level of coaching, etc., I hadn't jumped from, say, the pro game to sort of low county level. I'd gone from the pro game to as close as I could be to the pro game. So I was quite lucky in the sense that I was dropping down a level, but it wasn't a massive drop. And my whole aim from then all the way through to, if I'm totally honest, till I was 21, I still thought I was going to be a pro. And we'll come on to that in a minute with what I've done with Hastings, etc. But all the way up till I was about 21, I was still quite adamant that I had a chance of making it somehow, somewhere, but I just wasn't sure at that time.
Okay, so let's talk about that now. So you're out, you're released. You're now looking for clubs. You pick up with a club. You go to Lewis. You then go to Lewis, and then do you move straight on to Bognor? Is it?
No. So I actually spent almost a year and a half at Lewis. And the reason being, we was in the youth team. I had a couple of first team chances on the bench here and there. Didn't ever play a first team game. I played a Sussex Senior Cup game, but not a first team game in the league. But we were quite lucky in the sense that we got to the 3rd round of the FA Youth Cup for Lewis. As I said, because we had quite a few Brighton players that were released. We had a very strong side, and we played against Hull. So we played in the FAU Cup third round, did really well. Then after that run, I was only 16 and a half, maybe nearly 17. After that run, I was like, right, I want to get into first team football. I was being told by quite a few people in the local area that, you should be playing first team football if you want to progress. And it kind of, yeah, that's what I've got to do. And straight away, Darren Kilpatrick, who my dad knows from playing days, he was at Bognor and he said, look,
Great coach.
Yeah, fantastic coach. He said, come down to Bognor and we'll see what we can do, because I was very small. I'm still small now, but at 16, I was maybe 5'3", 5'4". I was tiny. And he said, you're a left back, so I'm not too sure how or where you'll fit straight into the first team, but come down and we'll have a look. And then, so I went to Bognor. So about 17-ish, I went to Bognor.
Do you enjoy it?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. As I say, the coaching, again, this is where I'm saying about being lucky with not dropping down too far. Dabba's coaching is, well, at that time when I was under him, was unbelievable. With the resources that they had, which wasn't many, and with the facilities they had, which again wasn't many, like they had behind the pitch and sometimes on AstroTurfs, the training was unbelievable. It was as good as what I was getting at Brighton. And so I was still very, very mentally strong, and I still thought, if I'm still getting this sort of coaching and I can get myself out there, being only, I've definitely still got a chance. And so, as you said earlier, with playing for England, that's where that all stemmed from. So I then did play for Bognor for 2 years, did pretty well, and I got selected to go to trials for England schoolboys.
Talk to us about that. How does that come about? So do you get people watching you?
Yeah, so you get selected from your county. So I was selected by Sussex to go forward to the trial, but they also go off, not just just a random person choosing. They go to the clubs that you're playing for. They watch. I was obviously playing for Sussex schools at the time, and they chose 4 or 5 of us. It was me, Dave Wheeler, James Norwood, and Simon Johnson. And funny enough, all 4 of us got into the England squad. First year, Dave was at Lewis with me. James Norwood was at Eastbourne Town, and Simon Johnson was at Eastbourne Borough. So we all got selected. We all went to trials, and it's at Lilleshall National Trial, which is where it was back then.
The old Centre of Excellence, was that?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, the National Centre of Excellence. And there's 32 players. So initially you did matches. So it was like southeast of England versus southwest and northwest Midlands, essentially. And then they pick players out of that, and then they all go to Lilleshall for the 32-man playing squad, and then they narrow it down to 16 with 4 reserves. And us 4 managed to make it into the final squad straight off, which was brilliant.
So how are you feeling with that? Because you look like you're going on a roller coaster. You've been released. You're starting to get some form back. You're under a great coach that obviously trusts you and believes you. You're getting into the England under-18 squad. You now must feel on top of the world.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
Well, exactly that. You couldn't say any better than a roller coaster. You get the down from leaving Brighton, getting released, start doing well in men's football, even though being young, get selected to play for England. Again, at this point, I'm 17, so we're playing on TV, we're playing abroad, we're playing all over the place for England. And I'm like, if I haven't got more of a chance of getting into a pro club now with them all watching me, what chance have I got? So at this point, this is where my confidence and my mentality grew stronger, because I'm thinking I'm in such a good shop window right now. I played, I think, about 8 or 9 times on Sky. And so it's like, can't get many better opportunities than what I was doing. So this is where my confidence really grew. And I thought, I've really got a chance. But I actually played for 2 years. So normally with the England schoolboys, it's majorly second-year players. So you have sort of 17, 18s, and then 16, 17s don't really get too much of a chance. But I was only in my first year of youth football. So I actually managed to do it for 2 years, which I was really lucky, playing the Home Nations Cup, which is like Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland. And I did that for 2 years. So I played, about 15 times for England in all.
That's a fantastic achievement for anyone.
Yeah.
And we knew that you were doing that locally. Can I ask you, what did you have to change from your teenage years? What did you have to sacrifice to try and get to that?
Oh, well, to be honest, to me, it didn't feel, because I was at Brighton from so young to all the way through to where I was at England, I didn't actually feel too much of a sacrifice because I was never used to going out, having a laugh. I was just so dedicated to always doing what I had to do. So to me, it actually didn't feel that much like a sacrifice. But from those that have been in that position who weren't maybe quite as young and sort of did miss out because they had to sacrifice stuff, it's more being dedicated to time than it is to sacrificing other stuff. Because at 15, 16, to be honest, not too many people are going out drinking and stuff. Yeah, you do start to do that 17, 18, but it's more training and doing the things that come with it. So as you said about my old man earlier, we used to be down Broadwater Green and doing like passing and all the little bits that people don't really see. So I would spend maybe, and especially with my old man as well, giving up all his time, I would do maybe 1 hour, 2 hours a day of specific coaching just with me and my old man. So it would be dribbling, first touch, receiving, all of these sort of things that although you do training with your men's sides or with your club sides, I was doing another hour, 2 hours a day on top of that. And that's what I think people don't quite see.
I see that. That's the mindset. I mean, I talk to some of the players that I have, and that's one thing that's hard to coach, their mindset. A lot of the players have to want to have that and develop that inside them. Obviously, you had a father figure there with you each step of the way, pushing you in a good way. Okay, if you could see Matt Whitehead at 12 years old now, what would you tell him?
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Don't put so much on wanting or trying to be a pro. Just enjoy it. And that don't mean don't try your hardest to do that, but that time went so fast, and I have great memories, obviously, but I don't really remember enjoying it immensely. I just remember playing for Brighton, trying my best to be a pro, and they're kind of only the memories and the teams we played. I don't remember going, oh, can you remember that, or can you remember how much fun I had doing that, or can you remember that goal? Or I don't have them memories. I just have the sort of the strictness memories. And if I tell myself now in hindsight, it would 100% be, no matter who you're playing for, no matter what level you're playing at, you've got to enjoy it, because when you're my age now and you look back, you have the memories of what you've done opposed to the enjoyment that you could have had. And that's 100% got to enjoy it when you're doing it.
I love that. And I think that brings us nicely into the next part of what I want to talk to you about. You've then played, you played for a lot of really high standard teams, especially in the Sussex area. You know, you Three Bridges, Horsham, Lewis, Worthing, the lot there.
Yeah.
But you then come out in 2015 and made that career change. You then co-founded with what I call a fantastic coach, Jamie Crennan, as well.
Yeah.
Love to get him on the show, by the way, one day.
Yeah.
You've co-founded Ace Football Academy. Am I thinking there's a couple of reasons why you've done this? One, you want to stay in football. And two, maybe pass on some of that knowledge or that experience you had as a youngster to these 4 to 12-year-olds. Am I close?
Oh, mate, you've literally hit the nail on the head. Like, exactly that.
Talk to me about why you did it then and how it came about.
So me and Jamie, we both played at Brighton for years. And then when we got released, we were both sort of in the same headspace. What do we do? So we went to college together. Okay. We did sports coaching degree in college. And then we were like, right, we were still trying to be pros, both of us, to be honest, because Jamie was at Lewis as well. Then said, right, we obviously got nowhere as it is. What should we do now? So we went to university together at Chichester, and we did a PE. And then we come to end of our degree at 21 at Chichester, and we said, right, what are we doing now? So we, from about the age of 10 all the way through to 21, we played together, been mates. We're like, what should we do now? And to be honest, he was like, let's set up something to do with football. We're at the age now where we'll never have the chance again if we go into full-time work to set up a business. So let's try that. And so Ace was founded. And to be honest, the whole idea of it was to just get children, or primary school children that are going through their youth experience, to enjoy football. Because why do children play football? They play football because they enjoy it. Yes, people want to be professional footballers, obviously, but any child that plays football because they enjoy playing football, just like they do in any sport, typically most of the time. And that's what we try to do, is we try to bring a sort of a professional approach to sort of grassroots. So professional coaching, and you've got your grassroots coaching, and the difference in level is catastrophic. You've got an unbelievable standard of coaching at professional level, and grassroots typically parents, and by no fault of their own, it's just that's how the way the game is. Typically parents who don't have much knowledge of the game or how to get children to do what they want to do. And so we've tried to make a middle ground to provide that quality level of coaching, but by also giving them the experience of enjoyment, and not so worrying about, you've got to do this, just enjoying it, but by doing it in a professional environment, really.
Okay, and how many do you think over the last 9 years, how many youngsters have you had come through, roughly? As that you've had through your academies?
Oh, now you're asking me. That is a very good question. I mean, at any one time, this is probably a bit easier to work out. We typically have between 300 and 400 children a week.
Wow.
So if you go over 10 years, I mean, I would guess the amount of children that have come through our centre, whether it be through weekly sessions or camps, it's got to be tens of thousands.
Wow. So, and how many of you coaches are involved now?
So again, me and Jamie, so we set it up, but below us now as such as coaches, we have now 4 head coaches, because we've got 4 sites. And then we've also got probably a list of about 20 or 30 coaches that we use at any one time, depending on where and when and how.
So this is no small operation. You seem to have grown organically. I remember seeing you guys maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
You did the Sompton tournament down there. And I tell you, one thing I noticed was the professionalism, organisation, and the fun.
Brilliant.
All 3 of those. My boy attended himself in there. I mean, you've got some teams around here that also put on their exercise, but I thought that was one of the best run tournaments that I'd been involved with at youth level. So I wanted to commend you on that. I really did.
Thank you.
Okay. So what's next for Matty? What is next? I mean, have you got a family? You got a family yourself now?
Yeah. So I've got a little boy. He's 4 nearly. Christmas Eve he turns 4, and that time.
Does that mean he's joining the academy? Is he? Is he going to be eligible now?
He's already started, mate. Yeah, soccer tots on a Saturday morning. He's already there doing it, mate. Yeah. But it's just, to be honest, when you're a child and you say, your parents go, oh, enjoy it because time goes fast. And then you get to the age of being an adult and you work, you go, oh, actually, it does go quite fast. And then when you become a parent, you realise time absolutely flies. And so, to be honest, mate, I've started playing again. I stopped really when COVID hit. Tommy was born during COVID, and everyone had to stop playing. So I kind of knocked it on the head. And then I've not really played since then until this year. I signed for Wick started this year. Oh,
what, you down with Baldwin down there?
Yes, yeah. So I signed down there just on the chance that I might play a little bit, and then I've been quite lucky. Played most of the games, but yeah, for future, mate. To be honest, we're really interested in expanding Ace as much as we can.
As a franchise?
This is it. We're kind of at the bracket now where we can't physically do any more because we've both got full-time jobs as well as running the academy. So we don't know what we're going to do yet. We've talked about franchise options, but that's what we're looking to always expand. From a personal point of view, got a little boy, he's 4. We're leading the process of moving and getting married.
Do you think your experience will help develop your boy if he chooses to go into football that way, in a different way now?
No end. Yeah, I mean, like, every generation is different. Like, I would never change my experience. I would never change what I've learned. I would never change anything about what I had as I was growing up. But what it gives you is a platform to develop and do whatever you've taken, the goods and the bads, to know what to do in the next generation. And whether that's with Tommy, with the children that I coach, there's 100%. I take all of the things that I've learned, the things that I didn't like, and all the things that I learned. Yeah, it's like anything. It's experience, isn't it? Experience always gives you better results. If someone's got experience in something, you get a better result in what it is.
And if there's any prospective parents out there that fancy bringing their boy or girl along down to the field, where can they find you?
So we've got 4 sites in Sussex. We've got Lancing, Worthing, Portslade and Storrington. And typically our most sort of wide experience things that we do is we do our football half-term camps, which is essentially a school day, but it's in the half terms, and we do an after-school club. And we do that at all of those sites. And the after-school club, anyone that wants to join. And
where can they get in contact with you with that?
So again, social media anywhere. So you've got mine and Jamie's numbers. You've got the Ace Football Academy website, which is acefootballacademy.com. You've also got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Ace Football Academy. You'll find us straight away. So yeah, anywhere.
Excellent. Now, before we wrap up, I've got some rapid fire questions for you, Matt.
Go on.
3 minutes worth of rapid fire questions. Yeah. Let's see how we go. Right. Favorite footballer of all time?
Oh, wow. 2. Messi, for typical reasons, but growing up, because my old man, Stuart Pearce.
Love that. Toughest opponent you ever faced?
Oh, God. There was a lad that played for France when we played them called Yanis Taffer. He was playing for Lyon at the time. Unbelievable. Scored a hat-trick. Crazy.
Best goal you ever scored?
Best goal I've ever scored. I haven't scored many. Best goal I've ever scored. A free kick for Three Bridges.
Dream team to play or coach for?
Oh. Typically, it's got to be Leicester because I play the sport. Yeah.
Most embarrassing moment on the pitch?
Playing for Hastings, no one near me, got to head the ball clear, loops over my own goalkeeper, own goal.
Any pre-match rituals or superstitions?
No, I'm actually asked this the other day. None at all. Don't have any.
Funniest teammate you've ever had?
Oh, I've had a few of those as well. Lee Hall.
Best stadium you ever played or coached in?
Wembley.
Most inspiring manager or coach you've ever had?
Oh, I've got to say Dabba from when I left Brighton to go to Bognor for just being an unbelievable coach.
Favourite cheat meal?
Oh, curry.
Favourite movie or TV series?
Oh, God, these are tough. I'm not a massive TV person. Does this count? Match of the day?
On the fence, but I'll give it to you. Morning or night person?
Morning.
Favourite holiday destination?
Oh, Portugal.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Tackle, defend?
Tackle.
VAR, love it or hate it?
Hate it.
Long ball or tiki-taka?
Tiki-taka.
Captain or playmaker?
Captain.
Home or away games?
Home.
First thing you'd do if you won the lottery?
Oh. Put money into a football club.
And if there was a movie about you, who would play the lead role?
Someone small. Someone small and funny. No, Tom Hardy.
And best player you've ever played with? Last one.
Oh gosh, there's got to be two. The first one has to be Lewis Dunk because, for obvious reasons, I played with him for years, and look where he's done, what he's been. Well, sorry, what he's done, where he's been. But as I got a little bit older, Michael Birmingham at Bognor.
Oh yeah, he's just come back, hasn't he?
He's just gone back as manager, but when I was playing, I was only, say, 17. He was about 36, 37, ending his career. And to be honest, he won't mind me saying this, he was a little bit overweight, but I've never seen anyone with ability like it with a football, especially at that age. Unbelievable.
Love it. Well, Matt, have you got anything to say to anyone out there at the moment?
No, firstly, thank you for having me on. Obviously, it's been real fun, real pleasure. And just, so for anyone out there coaching-wise, just make sure, from my experience and what I've told you today, that children enjoy themselves. It's the most important thing. It's the memories that they take with them that they need. Going from what I've learned over the years, definitely enjoyment.
Matt Whitehead, thanks for coming out on the Dugout, pal. Take care.
Take care, buddy.